Okay, one thing that I'm not sure if I mentioned, I told you that if you push down on the home button and the power button over here, you can take a screenshot of whatever's on your screen. But one thing that I neglected to mention is, let's say that your iPad is completely frozen up. One thing you can do is you can hold down on the home button and the power button at the same time. Maybe I already mentioned this. But if you hold down on the home button and the power button at the same time, and just wait for a few seconds, it'll reset your iPad. And you don't lose like memory or anything like that. You don't lose all your files or anything. But it's what's called like a soft reboot. It's kind of like just a way of pressing the reset button. You don't lose anything. It just kind of tells the iPad, hey, let's just forget this and start over. If your iPad should happen to freeze up. So that would be something you could do. One other thing about the home button, if you have it turned on, you can hold down on it and get Siri. Hey Siri,
Hey, girl.
how you doing today? Oh, let me push this button. How you doing today?
I am well.
Okay, now I'm going to get out of here because I don't like Siri, so I'm going to push the button again and get out of there, get back to where I was. Okay, so that's basically everything I can think of as far as the home button. One other thing here that might be of interest to you is the camera. That's pretty cool too, so we'll probably mess around with that a little bit later. Um, I want to talk more about the home screen now. So you've got all these icons here, all these apps that I've kind of referred to already. You are actually able to rearrange them any way you want. First of all, notice that if I swipe with my finger, I can swipe back and forth to different pages. And if you see the little white dot down there, it like changes as you swipe. That's kind of telling you how many pages that you have of apps. But if you don't want all your apps spread out like this, you can group them together too. So if you want to group them together, what you're going to do is, let's say you want to group this app and this app. Actually, let's say I want to group these two apps together, my iTunes Store and my App Store. So I'm going to hold down on one with my finger until it starts to jiggle. And then once it starts to jiggle, I can actually drag it around with my finger. And I'm sorry you can't see my finger there, but anyhow, I can drag it right over the other icon, and then look what happens. They get together there, and they make, like, well, I want to say they make beautiful music. They don't, but they like come into one little box. Now I'm going to push the home button, and when I push the home button, um, I back out, and you can see that these two icons have now been collected together under one icon called Lifestyle. Now, if you don't want to call it that, you can hold down on one of them again till they start to jiggle. And when the things are jiggling, that's when you can make your changes. So you just click on the X here, and you can say like my stuff, or you can call it store, because it's like the stuff that's in it's the store basically for you. Whatever you want to do, you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to push the home button, which I did. I'm going to push it one more time. And so you can see I can kind of organize things according to what they are. Like here, all my different movie watching apps I've put under one. So I'm just going to touch anywhere out here, and that'll back me up. Here I put all my nursing textbooks together. I have like 4 different companies that offer online textbooks. Ooh, see that? That's an announcement. I'll talk more about that later, but right now I'm just going to get rid of it. Oh, it went away on its own. So just touch anywhere outside the square. And, if you decide you don't want these things organized the way that they are, touch, grab it till it wiggles, and just pull one of them out. There you go, just like that. I pulled it out. And, I can pull the other one out. So I'm going to touch the box again. And I'm going to pull this one out. Just like that. And then the box disappears. So you can group things together. You don't have to, though, whatever you want to do. Okay, this is really annoying me. Now, I keep getting all these notifications, and I don't want them anymore. So I'm going to show you something really quick here. I'll come back to this later. If you take your finger near the bottom of the screen and swipe up like that with your finger, this is the Do Not Disturb button. And I'm pushing it because I'm tired of this. Okay, so you saw it said Do Not Disturb is on. Swipe back down with your finger. There's some other controls I'll go over in a minute, but right now I just wanted to get rid of all the pop-ups there all the time bugging me. You can even see this little moon here. That means do not disturb. This symbol here means that I'm actually broadcasting my iPad screen to my MacBook, which is actually how you're seeing it now. Um, so anyhow, this tells you your battery life. This tells you Bluetooth is active. You can link this with other things. If it was an iPhone, you can actually link it with your watch. But anyhow, this is the home screen. If you want to move things around, you touch and hold until they start to jiggle. Now, some of the things that you see here have X's. If you hit that X, you are actually going to lose that app. You're not going to lose it forever because you can always re-download it from the App Store. But anything with an X can be deleted off the device. So if you ever need to free up space, push the X and delete the app. But just remember, you won't be able to use the app unless you re-download it from the App Store again. So I'm going to push the home button to stop the jiggles. But anytime you hold down on a button, you get the jiggles, and you can combine things into one box like I have here. You can change the name of the box, whatever you want to do. Another thing you can do, this bar down here, if you notice, as the other bars move, this one stays stationary. So this is the things that you use all the time. So I'm going to grab one of them, and you can see I can pull it out, or I can put it back in, I can grab it and move it to another screen by just holding it like that, hold it off to the side. Or if I decide I want it down there after all, then I put it back down there, okay? And when I'm done moving things around, push the home button, okay? So touching an icon and holding down on it will make it jiggle, and then you can move it around and combine it with other things. Notice swiping back and forth. This tells you where you're at. And watch what happens if I swipe too far the other way to this, where you see a little magnifying glass on your screen. This is like recent contacts. Oh, look, I talked to Deb recently. This is like recent apps that you've used. This is like local things that are close to you. This is the news. You can scroll down a little bit, see more news. Oops, I accidentally. Okay, now one other thing you can do, if you tap up here and you want to search for something in your iPad, like I want to search, let's say I want to search for the Linked app. There it is. There's the Linked app. So apparently it's already on my iPad. Then I could touch it there, and it's going to open up the Linked app for me. But I don't need to be in it right now, so I'm going to hit the home button and go back out. But just be aware, if you swipe all the way over to the end screen, you can click up here, type in anything you want, or, you click the X and click the microphone instead, and you can talk and say la la la, and it will actually look up la 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 for you on your iPad. But I don't think I have la 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 on my iPad anywhere, so it's not bringing back any search results. Basically, this bar is, your way of searching for things on the iPad, okay? So like I have a movie, I have Indiana Jones, okay? So let's see if it goes there. Okay, Indiana Jones. Yep, so I have the movie Indiana Jones. It's got the video. I'm going to push this to get my keyboard temporarily out of the way. And this has got like anything with the word Indiana Jones in it. You can scroll up and down, do whatever you want to do, okay? To get the keyboard back, just click somewhere where you need to type something, and the keyboard jumps back on its own. So hopefully that's something that's helpful for you. If you've copied and pasted, this is telling you how to... Well, actually, let me show you that now, I guess. So let's say that I want to type something else up here. Like, let's say I want to type in, Henry Jones, because Indiana Jones was named, his actual real name was Henry, I think, and they named him after the dog. The dog was Indiana. So if I want to, change this to Henry Jones, I'm going to touch and hold until I see this little circle here. And once I see that, I'm moving my hand back and forth. I still haven't let up on the screen. I can insert this line wherever I want. I'm going to insert it right here, and I'm going to backspace and type in Henry. Okay? So there we go. Oh, actually, it's trying to search Henry Jones for me on the Wikipedia, too. But let's look at this a little bit more when we're typing text. So I'm going to touch and hold, and I can move my cursor around. And this will work for any time you're using the keyboard for anything, like for net searches or whatever. when we get into Safari. But notice one other thing. If I let up on it, I get other options too. So if I just let up on the cursor after I've moved it where I want it, I can do select all, paste. I'm going to do select all. And it select all the words. And you can do copy. And then let's say you want to put a copy of it right next to it. So touch and hold. And it gives you the option to paste. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to get rid of this now. There's the backspace. But just be aware, if you want to have some options as far as your typing goes, you'll want to touch and hold, and you can like, you can see lots of options open up. I'm getting really bad. I have really bad heartburn. So, and I just switched medication. So if you hear me coughing like crazy, it's because my throat's burning from the inside out. So that's kind of fun. But anyhow, that's what the keyboard's all about. Okay, we'll talk more about the keyboard a little bit later. I'm going to push the home button. Takes me back to my main screen here. And so that's what this home screen's all about. So now you kind of know how to navigate. Last thing I need to talk about as far as the home screen. Earlier you saw me pull up with my finger. So put your finger down there and pull up. You have lots of options here. You have a mute button. You have a do not disturb button. This turns your Bluetooth on and off. This turns your wireless on and off. AirDrop, if you want to send a file to somebody, you push AirDrop, and that determines who you can send files to. I'm going to have it set to send to everybody, which we'll do later. This is a nice button because, look, I'm going to turn my iPad. Whoops, actually nothing's going to happen yet. I'm going to close this down, turn my iPad. Okay, look at that. Now, sometimes it's annoying. See what it's doing? Sometimes that's kind of annoying. You don't want it to do that. You want it to stay either this way, or maybe you want it to stay this way. So watch what I do here. I'm going to, like, swipe up. I'm going to push this little button right here, and it says orientation lock on. Now watch what happens when I try to turn it. It doesn't turn. Except for some reason that announcement came up, and that shouldn't be doing it because they've got announcements shut off right now. But we'll work on that. So open this back up. Right here, this is how you send your screen to AirPlay. So like I said, I'm sending this to my Mac right now. I can send it to my Apple TV also. This is a volume button. This will play whatever music you were listening to. I'll be honest with you, this is a new one. I don't know what this is. I've never seen it before. I guess I could push it. Night shift. I think what that does is that like makes the screen a little bit friendlier on your eyes. I'm not positive about that one. That's a fairly new feature. Here's brightness. So you can turn that up and down. Okay. And then, so that's some quick settings for you. If you go up to the top and pull down, that gives you recent notifications. So it gives you your calendar. Down here it says edit and one new widget available. So what that means is a lot of these apps that they have, you can like add a widget like slide shares of the day. So I'm going to include that, and I'm going to push done now. And so that's going to show up in my notifications and in my widgets here. So here's notifications. This is everything that's happened today to me. Every time something popped up on my screen, you can see this is all from iUSB. They're constantly blowing up my iPad. I don't know what's going on with that. But you can also, you can like scroll up and down. Go to widgets, and that just like gives you some more stuff. Like if you have Audible, you can like see how many hours you listened this week, this month, and the total. This is some books I've read recently. This is the weather, kind of a quick glance. There's another weather app. Yeah, I read the Bible earlier. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so what can I say? It's a good thing. So here's Dropbox. I don't know what those files even are, actually. But, the widgets just show you all, some of the things that you've done recently. And actually, I could tap on any one of these things and open the apps up that way. And then here's notifications. Like I said, this is just stuff that's your iPads talk to you about today, okay? So once you're done looking at these notifications, just slide back up. So, whoops, there we go. There's one other thing here off to the side. Oh, actually, I take it back. It's not going to work yet because I have to actually be in an app. So let me show you one other really cool thing that you can do. I'm going to go to, let's see, let's go to Notes. That'll be fun. Now, this feature that I'm about to show you here, this is, okay, so what is, I don't even know what half of these notes are. This is some kind of, I don't know, this was something I was supposed to do in March of 2015. I hope I did it. But anyhow, I'm going to pull off to the side here. Now, this doesn't work for all apps, and unfortunately, I don't think it works for the iPad mini. I think it only works for the bigger iPads. I'm not sure. But notice I'm going to slide off to the right here. Okay? And then see this up here? I'm going to touch that. And this will show me some other apps here. So let's say that I want to open up Safari. Let me see if I can find Safari here. So let's see. Oh, there it is. So I touch Safari. And I'm going to grab this now and I'm going to slide it. You can't do it with all apps. I don't think you can do it on I don't think you can do it on the iPad mini, but if you ever get a bigger iPad, this will be good to know. And then these are some of my favorite websites from Safari. At least they're ones that I've visited before. So apparently I was doing something with cystic fibrosis. Maybe I was doing some research. So I'll open that up. And basically this lets you multitask now. So let's say I want to copy this question into my notes. So I'm going to touch and hold. Anytime you touch and hold, look at what happens. You get some other options. So I'm going to take this slider, move it over. Whoops. And this is not always easy to do. I'm going to take the other one, move it the other way. Whoops. There we go. And you can copy, you can define, you can share. I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to come over to my notes here. I'm going to touch somewhere in there. And I'm just going to tap someplace. And when I tap someplace, I get lots of options. I'm going to do paste. So I was able to paste that question from the internet in. And then I'm going to close this down. So that's multitasking. When you're done with this, just grab the middle and slide it back. And then, you know, not all apps have this. So I'm just sliding it back and forth, you know, just like so. But anyhow, that's how you can open two apps at once if you have the bigger iPad. I don't know if it's working on the small one yet. Maybe at some point it will. I really don't know. But that's some pretty nifty features of the home screen. We went over the keyboard. Oh my gosh, we went over a lot of stuff. I feel like that's a ton of stuff. I'll show you a little bit about some other settings you might be interested in. And then I'm also going to show you a little bit about Safari too, okay? And I'll show you a little bit about what you can do with files as well. So hopefully you found this helpful.